Hi, my name is Robert. This video is designed to give you step-by-step detailed instructions on completing the task at hand. Please read the comments in the About section of this video. It has valuable information and updates. My YouTube channel has a disclaimer video that I encourage you to watch. And please like, share, and subscribe. I hope you found what you're looking for. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to replace a couple of locks on this exterior door. I will say this before I get started. If you have a good set of locks that work, especially fancy ones or high quality ones, when you buy locks they actually have a grade on them, like a school grade, A, B, C, D, that kind of thing. If you have a good set of quality locks and you don't want to replace them, you can call a locksmith. They will come and rekey them and cut you a couple of keys on the spot. That may cost 90 bucks. Or a lot of times you can remove them, take them into a locksmith, and they will rekey them there for probably 25 bucks, since they didn't have to make a house call, and cut you a couple of keys. If you suspect that someone has a key and you don't want them to have access to the facility, or you've lost a key or something like that, you can get the locks rekeyed. You don't have to replace them if they're functioning good. Person I'm helping decided to go with Kwikset, real good reputable lock company. They got locks that are not designed to be rekeyed. You can actually buy locks now, especially if you have a places that you rent out, that you can easily rekey them. This one is not one of those. However, if you are buying locks for more than one door, like this person did, you could actually have the additional lock, as long as it's got the same size key, rekeyed at the hardware place, usually for free. I believe these were purchased at Home Depot. So you can open this package at the store and ask them to rekey this lock with this key. That way you don't have a bunch of keys on all these different doors. That is usually a free service that they offer while you are purchasing this stuff there. Then they can make a couple more keys for you if you like. You may notice on this lock set, it's a key on the outside. Actually, that's the inside, since it has a screw hole, and there's a key for the inside. So this is a double key deadbolt lock. You want to go with a double key deadbolt lock when you have a situation like this. You have an exterior door with a glass in reach of the lock. So let's say this was your primary lock, and you maybe didn't have another one, or actually with this one, somebody could bust this window, reach in, and unlock the doors. So it's really a very minor system of security. This is the weakest security that you could get. If you get it keyed on both sides, then they got to kick the door in, which is usually a little noisier than, you know, just breaking a little pane window. So I'm going to do a video. It seems to be minor, but a lot of people don't know how to do this. Show you how to replace the lock on the door. This lock set here was master. This lock set here, Deslin. There are several different lock companies that makes, you know, decent products. But like I said, this one is very common. It's Kwikset. So let's get started. If the door already has a standard setup system, which is, you know, basically about 2 inches from the center of the equipment to the edge of the door, it's probably going to be easy to swap. Let's start out with the top one. As you can see there, it has 2 Phillips screws. We're just going to undo those Phillips screws and pull this stuff apart real quick. So let me get these screws out. Real easy process. You can see they are very long screws. They want you to have good ample warning that these screws are loose and coming out before they fall out on you. Plus they got to thread through the locking assembly, and that makes them more secure. So you can put your hand out there and catch that as it falls out as you unscrew it. And once you get both of them out, you go ahead and pull it apart, and you have that part done. So here it is. Very simple. That part comes out. Then if this is not painted together like this is, a lot of times over the years they get painted and stuck, you have to knock that loose. Sometimes it's also kind of tight in the wood, which is kind of rare. So you can just grab the screwdriver, hit that bottom side, and knock that out. Let me punch that out real quick. Get the screwdriver and hit that bottom part there to get that piece knocked out. So now that's out. Next thing I'm going to do is take out these two screws. These are normally not this long. They're normally very short screws. Somebody put that other screw in there. So let me show you how long these screws normally. Oops, we may have a problem here because it looks like this screw just broke. Hopefully it didn't. No, it didn't break. So we got that little screw there. We're going to pull this long screw out here, and then that piece just slides out of the door. Somebody found the need to put this long oversized screw in here. So that tells me, if pulling this out, that chances are these holes may have been stripped. Once both screws are out, you just slide that out like that. You can see how that mechanism goes in, up and down for the couple different sizes. But at any rate, that's what you're left with. You're ready to go in with the new one. However, I suspect that something's wrong with these holes. So I'm going to fill those with some real wood or a dowel rod. Let me see if I got some of that handy. Another video that I made showing you how to fix stripped out wood holes. These are old wood holes. And you go to a hardware store or craft store and buy some very thin dowel pegs. You slide it in there, break it off. You can also take some kind of good fresh wood, wooden pencil or something, shave a little piece off and jam them down in those holes long enough. You want to give them the depth of the hole. Then break them off, smooth it off so you can tap the screw holes back in. Plastic deals are always real hard for me to get open unless I use some shears or really tough scissors. So let me cut this and get this out of the packaging. Go ahead and put the deadbolt stuff together first. So here is the deadbolt, and you want to put that in there. So since we got that in place, we're going to go ahead and screw that, secure it. Make sure you got the stuff that lines up there. You have to pay attention to your orientation. As you look there, it's like the key hole latch mechanism is up top. And if you spin this so that that's up top, your key will go in upside down. So you want to check that before you actually screw it in. So I'm going to put it that way so that it's down low and the key goes in the right way. Let me go ahead and get those screws in there. I went and shaved some wood off of a 2x4. Stick it in the hole. You want it to be something that's actually tight. So I got that nice and tight. I'm going to tap that in there with a screwdriver or something and then break that off. Have those holes filled, and now when I go to put a screw in, it should stay better. You can also put glue in there to make it a little more solid. Let's slide this piece in with the latch side down and screw that in so that it's secure. And here are the screws you have. These screws here screw the plate in the door jamb, screw the latch plate in the door jamb, and these screw these up here, these two. So let me go ahead and get that in. When I'm putting these screws in here and here, I like to use a hand screwdriver because you don't want to strip out these holes. When you're dealing with wood that's very old, sometimes it's easy to strip that out, especially if this is not hardwood. You could tell if it's hardwood by pushing on it and see if it allows you to put a dent in it easy, or running your nail on it, versus a hardwood would be hard to do that. put those in there, get them nice and snug. Basically, this is holding this in place, not keeping anybody from getting in and out of it. You want to make sure that the screw is clear when you close it. You don't want that stuff rubbing on this stuff here. You have instructions that you can follow. Shows you everything from how it's supposed to be assembled to how you're supposed to drill the holes in the new doors and all that. If you need it, go ahead and use that stuff as well. So I want to put the lock stuff in here. You want to keep all this stuff together because you don't want nobody to crush this little ring. So you have this heavier metal retainer in there. You put that in place and make sure your screws are down. You check, make sure that stuff is aligned in the holes there. Alright, it's aligned there. You take your other hand and you make sure that that thing is aligned so that it goes over that pin. And you could actually put the outer one on first, but you want to make sure it's in the right orientation or you're not going to be able to get it locked. Let's see here. Looks like it's that shape is more important going through there than this one is. So I got to make sure that this is pointing in the right direction when I put it on there, or it's not going to go. That's the unlock position. So next I'm going to put the outer cylinder, hold it up in place. You got to make sure that that is shaped like that is, so it goes and your screw holes are down and it fits in place like that. Now that that's in place, you hold it in place while you set the inside assembly in, and then you take a hand and start one of the screws. But you got to make sure that those holes are lined up. This also appears to have a flat end and a round end. So you look in there, the round end is going to be on the other side. So let me spin this around like that. Now I'm going to hold this in place and I'm going to start a screw in there. And then I'll come back to it. Hold it in place like that. Work that centerpiece in. I worked the assembly against there. And I took one of the super long screws. They go in the deadbolt, stuck it through the hole until I felt it hit, and then I started turning it in. So let me get this one started and screw them in until it's snug. I'm not going to tighten it yet, just snug it down. Okay, I'm just going to snug the screws down. I'm not going to tighten them because I want to check and make sure the key works and it lets the lock go in and out. So it's just snug. And you just use your regular number 2 tip, 2 size cross tip screwdriver, nothing special. Now I'm going to try the key, make sure this comes in and out. Then I'm going to close it, make sure it fits in that bracket going in and out. Grab the key, stick it in there, make sure that it throws the lock all the way out. You do want it to be able to come out like that. See how far that is, so when you close the door, you know that it's throwing that far enough out. Do the same thing on this side. Now you want to close the door. Make sure that thing turns around to at least 4 o'clock. And it does. It's going all the way through the door jamb. We're good to go. Now I'm going to tighten this up and see if it still functions properly. Again, you want to snug these wood screws down and you tighten these down. And if you ever see them coming loose, that's kind of normal. It's just part of home maintenance to keep these things tightened up. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten that up real tight so that it can't be wiggled or jiggled around from the inside or the out. And I don't want it coming loose on me. Put a little bit of force in it. Now, make sure it still works. Sometimes this stuff, when you tighten it up, it binds up. It's still good to go. Let's get moving on the handle. The handle functions pretty much the same way as a deadbolt does, but it has this special metal piece here that I believe is for going inside of metal doors. We probably won't use this on the one that we're doing. So let's go ahead and unscrew these 2 screws, pull the lock apart, and then unscrew these 2 screws to pull the latch out. There, I have the handle off. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull the latch out. And I just think it's good if you're changing the brand of lock that you use the latches and stuff that come with the equipment. Don't try to mix and match this stuff. It'll normally cause you issues. You see how that one has that square peg? The other one does not have a setup like that. It just uses that pin there. You want to take the replacement latch, and of course this goes out. The tip goes to the inside, that goes to the outside. That way you pull the door closed. It latches. Push it in there, make sure it clears the inside, and go ahead and install those 2 screws and snug them down. You take the exterior handle with the keyhole, put it through there, and you might have to turn this around so that it is set right for right or left, because this right here is backwards. So let's go ahead and flip that around. I'm not sure if you could buy these that open right or left. However, the way this one opens and this thing is shaped, it's got to go in this way. So, unfortunately, when you put that in there that way, your key is going to go in upside down. I don't know if that matters to you, but I'm sure there's a way you can switch that over. Probably not worth the effort. So, I got that in place. Now I'm going to set the other side in place and start the screw. Put this side on, work the handle on, and then wiggle this part around until it falls in place and slides all the way on. Then line up the screw holes and start the screw. These are the screws that mount the handle together, and you could pull this side out so you can see how to get that tip started in that barrel. But it's a little tricky. You just got to work with it a little bit until you hit it, and then start to screw it in. But just work it until you get it set. Like I said, you might be able to see it through that way by pulling the handle out a little bit. I got both screws started. It was actually easier to get the screws in by letting it push the outer one out and then screw it in. And these 2 screws you want tight. You want to bring them both in before you tighten either one. And once you get them all the way both close, then you tighten them. Now that I have them nice and tight, I want to make sure it works. These snug, these tight. Snug means you turn them in until they quit going in and just maybe another 1/8 of a turn. Tight means you turn them until you can't tighten them anymore. So now I want to see if it locks, and it does. So I'm going to push the door closed. See if it latches. And this one, because of how the striker is out this far, it actually won't close. It actually won't close unless I turn the handle. So that might be a little bit of a problem. It's got a little catch there too. I wonder if that catch is doing anything here. Replace this striker plate and see if anything changes. Okay, I made a minor adjustment to that striker plate. It was bent toward the toward this way, and I bumped the tip of it and bent it a little bit that way, and now the door closes fine. Nice and easy. So that striker plate was a little bent out. So there we have it. It does lock. It closes. The deadbolt lock. If you got any questions, go ahead and post them. If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.